Hello and welcome to the Bonus XP podcast. I'm your host Luke Morgan and I'm joined as always by the bearded boys, Conan.
Hey there.
And Griner.
Hello.
If new to the show, what we do here is every fortnight we sit around the internet campfire and each bring forward a news item or topic from the gaming world that we want to discuss, or if there's any big news stories like Gamescom or E3 or anything like that, or Sony being the good guys,
Lawsuits.
then we'll discuss that. So before we get into that, we'll go around and discuss what we've been playing. Conan, I'll start with you this fortnight.
Holy hell. Guess who played 2 games? Guess.
Griner.
This guy.
Griner played more than 2 games. But I played 2 games. I didn't finish 2 games, but I actually played 2 separate games, which is very exciting for me.
It is.
Because after the last fortnight or last 3 weeks, I don't remember, the merciless chastising I got for playing Dead Space months before the remake made me drop that and say, okay, I've got to play something else. So I went on to Game Pass, actually decided to use it. I played 2 games I wanted to. I played Death's Door and I played some Tunic. So
Nice.
2 games that have been very well reviewed, seem to be real critical darlings, especially amongst the indie scene. I gave it a go, and yeah, I don't know. I put a few hours into each, and then so I put about 3 hours in Death's Door, then put 2 or so into Tunic. But I haven't picked them up since, so I don't know.
Do you think you will?
Probably not. I don't know. I'm wondering if isometric games are really my thing. Something about it just is putting me off, and I don't mean it in any sort of like, oh, look at this dumb style for wieners. It's just trying to navigate the world. I found a lot more, especially in like Death's Door. It's very labyrinthian, and trying to sort of remember where I was going or connect parts was. I don't know. I feel like they were both kind of games that I think I would really enjoy if I could just commit and get into them and really focus. But I guess just at this stage, I have so much going on that I was really like, I've got 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, I'll play a bit. I'm like, oh god, this is confusing. I don't know if I can. Like, there was that mental barrier of, am I going to really be able to be thinking about this and putting in the time to learn it and to get good at this and all that, which is a shame because with Death's Door especially, the lore was really, from what I'd even started, the lore was really interesting. It was right down my alley. The characters, the art style, the dialogue, sort of the wry comedy, all that's really good. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna just do like a YouTube watch, which sucks, but it's the easiest way for me to consume it. Tunic. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, you go. Go ahead.
I'd say Tunic didn't quite cut it as much for me. I think Tunic felt very much just like a Zelda, sort of like a Zelda light to me from what I played so far. So, and again, it was early, but a similar deal. It's just the isometric style. It's like I felt like I was going to need to commit a lot to it, and so I don't know. I honestly don't know if I will touch these games again, but I wish I could, and I hope I do, because I can tell there's a lot of good stuff there.
Death's Door, there's not that much to the story. Like, it's, the atmosphere is really cool, and yeah, you're right. There's some nice like wry comedy there, but it doesn't have an amazing story by any means. Okay. It's pretty forgettable. I really enjoyed that game. Like, I found it really fun to play. I thought the combat was really, really tight in that game, and it is a bit labyrinthian, but it's not. I don't know. I didn't find it overbearing. Like, I enjoyed going around and finding all the secrets in it. Tunic. Did you ever have a moment in Tunic where your character appeared in a place that you weren't expecting?
I probably didn't get that far.
Yeah, see, I wonder if you didn't experience the thing that makes you go, oh shit, in Tunic. Like, there's moments where all of a sudden your character will come out of a cave or a tunnel or something, and you'll be in a part of the world that you've walked past 10 times. And it's like, crap, if I had known this was here, I could have shortcut like a whole portion of the game. And it's cool. It's very interesting. There's also a really cool puzzle mechanic in there that you've probably come across but haven't realized. And have you looked at the pages of the manual yet?
Yeah, I glanced at them, and they've got sort of the they're hand drawn, and they've got a bit of like explanation of stuff. And
yeah, I don't know. Did you ever pick one? Did you figure out how to level up? Yeah. No. See, I don't know. There's some moments
it's too early days for me to judge.
Yeah, if you can get to the point where you figure out how to level up, and then you say, no, this game isn't doing anything interesting, that's fine, but at least then you'll know that's where this game goes.
Okay. It's an interesting cutoff point. If you can figure out how to level up, then the game could be good.
That's the cool thing about that game, though. You can level up from the first second in that game, but you don't know how until you find the piece of the manual that reveals it.
Yeah, it is. Let's think. It is it's very abstract, right? Like
Yeah.
the signs are all in a different language.
Yep.
And you've got to sort of just deduce what's going on, which I can see being something really cool and charming. But again, it was just, I don't know. I probably played it at a wrong time. It's probably a game that I need to look at when I'm like, I know I'll have a lot of time to commit to something.
Yeah.
Rather than, I don't know, I guess I was just looking for something else, or just where I've been in the past few weeks, I can't do it. So, like, I'll keep that in mind, and I will probably try to give it another go, maybe.
I mean, admittedly for me, like, I got to the end of Tunic and kind of didn't like it. There was a puzzle mechanic that I totally missed, and then I had to look it up, and then I found it, and I'm like, oh crap, I wish I'd known that all along. I somehow missed the manual page, which you get late in the game, but I missed it, and I don't know. The game falls off hard later, in my opinion, but it is worth it just to see what they're doing when you learn to level up. That's like an aha moment, and it's cool. It's really cool what they're doing there. I don't think they stick it the whole way through.
Yeah, because I was just looking, it's pretty much made by like one guy, basically, or two guys or something.
Very small team, yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. And I've got to give respect to. So I do want to kind of give it more time, just because of like the effort of undertaking that it is. Probably deserves it. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
I feel like I've had moments like that before with games where, you think like it's for you, you feel like this game and you just can't get into it or can't seem to commit to it. Usually I get like that if there's like a bigger game that's calling to me. Do you feel like maybe there's a game that's calling to you, Conan, that
No.
you should probably be playing?
No,
Like,
see, bigger games are actually more daunting. I
in the
wish there
distance,
was
like,
a game that was
war.
about 4.
You
I
hear
wish
it?
there was a game that was 4 hours only. I could just play that.
Point is, you should play God of War. Ragnarok is coming, Conan. You need to be
A
prepared.
PS2 classic, I guess.
Maybe. Yeah, just start from all the way to the beginning. Yeah. Important context for God of War. Griner, what have you been playing this fortnight? How many games, first of all?
I tried a lot of games this fortnight. I was struggling to land on something that I wanted to play. So I tried out 2 Point Campus. So that came out a couple of weeks ago. Launched on Game Pass. Sequel to 2 Point Hospital. It's definitely one of those games. So if you like, I don't know, Railway Tycoon, or any of those sort of, I don't know what they call them, management sims, where you're basically managing a building and
theme park sort of.
Yeah, theme park, tycoon, like all those tycoon games. They're not for me. I didn't love it, but if you like those games, it seems cool. Like, it looked nice and it was kind of fun, but yeah, it just wasn't for me.
When I was a kid, Theme Hospital was my jam. Man.
Yeah.
Like, I played that game all the time. But yeah.
Yeah, see, I played a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah,
and enjoyed that, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've outgrown them, or they're not scratching that itch, but just couldn't bring myself to continue that one. I tried Doom Eternal. I never played Doom Eternal.
Ooh.
But I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. It just felt, I don't know, not as good as Doom 2016.
Are you angry in this stage of your life, or are you happy? Because
No, I'm a bit stressed. Maybe I've been more stressed this week. Maybe I should pick it up again.
Yeah, I think you need to channel that rage.
Yeah, beat some demons.
I also played it on, maybe I should lower the difficulty. I put it on hard because they're like, play this if you're an experienced FPS player. I'm like, that's me. And then I'm dying I didn't die heaps, but it was kind of stressful trying to stay alive. And I don't know.
Play on easy and kill everything.
That might be the go, actually.
That's my motto. I'm like, I am new to video games, because technically I am at this point in my life. So easy for me, please.
But the main thing I wanted to talk about, the main thing I played was Cult of the Lamb, a Australian developed video game
That is taking the internet by storm.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it, and then all of a sudden I saw these reviews coming out saying it was really, really good. It's kind of a cross between Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, and then Hades, which, I mean, is kind of right up my alley, right? Like, I loved Hades. I have a respect for Animal Crossing. It's not my jam. It's kind of like a 2.0 campus kind of game in some ways. But you play as a lamb who is trying to get revenge on the old gods for the god that you were being sacrificed to. Anyway, you start a cult, basically, and you have to manage a cult and recruit members. And the whole goal is basically to make yourself more powerful so that you can go on crusades and take on the old gods. And
Right on.
The gameplay I'd seen, I haven't like watched a trailer or anything, but like the clips I was seeing online, was reminding me of like Super Meat Boy, like the gameplay style. Is that not accurate?
no, it's nothing like Super Meat Boy. It's like
Okay.
The Binding of Isaac, which might be that's the same.
Okay.
It's what the same art director as Super Meat Boy, same
Yeah.
artist. So it looks a lot like that and plays a lot like that. Basically, every crusade is essentially a trip into a roguelike world.
Yeah.
So you have to run them multiple times, defeat the area 4 times, and then you'll move on to the next area. The combat's really, really tight. Like, it feels good. There's a decent enemy pool. Like, it doesn't feel repetitive in that way. But the weapons didn't. There's not enough variety. There's like maybe 5 different weapons, and there's a few different SKUs of each weapon, but they all do essentially the same thing. Like, one might give you vampirism, so you restore some health. The other one might have a chance to crit, but they don't drastically change the way you would use that weapon. You still swing it at the same speed and everything like that. And then there's like a magic system, but I barely used it. It felt unnecessary in a lot of ways. So like the roguelike elements are cool, and it plays nice and tight, but I wish it was a bit more complicated. And then managing your cult, that was really, really cool. Like, it's probably the better part of this game. So you're tending to your cultist's needs, and then if one decides to rebel, you might sacrifice him so that you gain a level, or feed him to the rest of your cult so that they don't go hungry. There's lots of options there. It's kind of cool because it's a really cutesy art style, and it's very reminiscent of something like Animal Crossing, but you're performing ritual sacrifices, and I unlocked a perk so I could feed my cultists grass without any penalties, so I didn't have to worry about food for the rest of the game. Stuff like this. And there's fishing mini games and little side quests, and you're picking berries and farming and stuff like that. And then you're giving sermons and performing great feasts and marrying members of your cult and all sorts of stuff.
A really popular game for an Aussie developer. It's good to see. Like,
yeah, it's really taken off. I think it's been really successful for them. So I'm kind of proud of that too. There's beetroots as one of the crops you can grow. So
nice,
bit of Australian representation there, I suppose.
Now,
it's like,
Grana, I just want to ask. So, what did you name your cult?
I just did the default Cult of the Lamb. That's the
okay.
thing. Like, I didn't. The only time I used any decoration item was when one of my cultists was like, "Hey, it's kind of drab around here. If you can do 3 decoration items, I'll love you more." And so I did 3 decoration items just in the corner. I could care less about that stuff. But some people love that sort of thing, and you can put in paths and design it all nicely. I just wanted them to worship my idol as much as possible, so I could suck up their juicy devotion and level up. That was all I was interested in.
Conan, have you heard much about this game or seen it?
Just what we'd spoken about. I mean, this might surprise you, but I don't have my finger on the pulse of the indie game scene. But yeah, like, I mean, over 1 million units sold.
Which is awesome. Which is really good.
Pretty good. Yeah, I didn't realize it was. I think we mentioned it was Australian last time we spoke, but don't know anything about it. But I'm just reading this article. Seems to be doing really well. People loving it.
So was this on Game Pass or anything, or was it?
No, I actually had to pay money for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, look, it's old school,
man,
but I did it.
Support the developers.
I'm about to buy a PlayStation, so I'm going to have to get used to that, aren't I?
Now,
Forking out dollars for
I did
everything.
want to touch on this. You have bought a PlayStation 5. I'm very excited.
Well, I've paid money towards one. Whether it actually ever arrives, we'll see.
The time has come.
I'm concerned I'm going to drive an hour and a half to the town where I'm buying it from, and one of the employees will have taken it home or something, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yep. No, it's very exciting. We will probably have, I calculate, one more podcast of Grana being the PC guy, and then he'll be with me on the PlayStation.
I think I'll still prefer my PC.
He'll be here with a Horizon Forbidden West t-shirt. I guarantee it.
The day that happens, is the day this podcast ceases.
I'm looking forward to being able to criticize Horizon without you being like, you've never played it.
Yeah, I know. All my arguments of I'm the only one that's played these games out the window.
I'm coming for Days Gone too. Don't you worry.
Oh, you could have come for it already. It's on PC.
I know. I could have.
But hey, it's all free on PlayStation, so it's part of its games collection.
I thought it was $120. The digital download price.
It's worth
Still
$120.
pays premium.
That's what you like. I would happily pay $120 again just to play a game. But speaking of, we won't get into it in the podcast, but Days Gone movie, greenlit by Sony. Not a sequel. I would like a sequel, but hey, it shows that they believe
Why
in
are they
that
doing
IP.
a movie?
They believe in that IP. And for some reason,
they won't greenlight a sequel.
And for some reason, they're not getting Sam Witwer, who did the voice and face of Deacon in the game, to play it. Who's a good actor. But
is he a professional actor, or is he just like a sort of?
Yeah.
He's more of a.
He's too busy riding his hog.
But is he like a Troy Baker, where he does it on this, but he's mainly a voice actor or something?
I won't hear any T-Bake slander on here.
I'm not. It's not slandering.
T-Bake, a star of The Last of Us TV show in an unknown role. That's not getting into his acting credentials.
T-Bakes does not act in movies. He's a voice actor.
Anyway, I have not played any games this fortnight. I got a lot of stuff going on personally, but I would like to talk to you quickly about a desire to play a game I had this week. This was a weird desire, like a weird urge I felt, and I felt a bit guilty about it because I haven't really wanted to talk to anybody about this.
But those erotic games I was talking about.
I feel like I need to share this with you because I've never experienced this thought before.
It's going to be an RTS you watch.
No chance. No chance. This week, after seeing clips online, I had the desire and urge to play Fortnite.
You know what? The boomers are getting into Fortnite. Like, the millennials are getting into Fortnite, and all the little kids hate it. But, you can play as Goku versus Indiana Jones.
Okay, so here's the thing.
John Cena versus Ariana Grande. Like, what the hell?
The Dragon Ball Z crossover is what's, I think has made it emerge on my timeline where I'm seeing all this stuff pop up. And I saw this clip, and just, it blew my mind where I'm like, this game is nuts. This is what Ready Player One thought it should be, basically.
Someone pointed out, this is the metaverse that Zuckerberg wants, right?
This is the ultimate crossover. The amount of things, different IPs that are in this is insane. It goes to show you how much money Fortnite is worth, that all of this IP is in this game. You can have Master Chief, Kratos, a bunch Nintendo, Sony, whatever, all this stuff, Snoop Dogg, Dragon Ball Z characters all in a car together. But I saw a clip of Goku and Rick from Rick and Morty driving in a car, trying to run over Ariana Grande, jumping out, and both of them Kamehameha, and destroying her. And I'm like, this game is insane. And I'm just I don't know, there was the whole Fortnite craze when it first came out. I never got into it. I think I've played a total of an hour of that game. And when I try to play it, the building mechanics got me out straight away because
there's no building now too.
The kids these days, back then, I was just I don't know what they're doing. They're building a skyscraper. I just wanted to shoot at them. Now I'm dead. I was like, I'm too old for this shit. But watching it now, and you can play with no building and just all these characters, I'm just like, this looks fun. This looks like stupid fun. And I'm like, guys, we should get in on Fortnite. We should play Fortnite.
There's something appealing about Kakarot with a gun too. I don't know what it
is,
but
seeing Kakarot with a machine gun shooting at people, there's just something oddly satisfying about that. So, yeah.
I think I'd rather drink 3 liters of mercury.
Oh,
see what that does to my body.
He's the hipster.
Yeah,
the
see what that does to
me.
The hipster who doesn't like indie games.
Rather doesn't play Fortnite. Exactly. So I'm not a hipster. I'm not, because I don't like indie games.
But yes. Anyway, it's something that I might dip my toe into just out of morbid curiosity to see what it's like. But hey, it looks crazy, and I'm at the point where I'm like, I can't hate on it. It's its own special thing, and it's doing insane things. It might be cancer for the industry as a whole, but
that's my question. What does that do though, besides Like, what's the difference between that and just a Marvel film being like, look, here's 6 of the heroes we might one day have? What service does this what purpose does it serve besides just fan service and go, look at this character, and
But
it's fun.
you say that like fan service is always a bad thing, though.
Yeah, fan
When
service
you
isn't necessarily a bad
what
thing.
up, but when that's your only gimmick, it is. If the
But
gimmick
it's
you
not
do
the
is
only
It's a
gimmick.
fun game. It's a fun game.
It was one of the most popular games in the world before it had any crossovers. It was probably
And
the
I
most
remember
popular game in
when
the
it
world.
was like,
I didn't
oh
realize
my
it was-
god,
I'm not going to take on
Thanos
two
is
Fortnite fans. I'm not
in
gonna
this
take on two
game.
No,
No,
I'm just
Fortnite.
saying it's hard to ignore not only its popularity but what it's managed to achieve.
Okay, sorry,
Dude,
guys.
Nobody
give me
wanted
the-
nobody
I
wanted
don't
that
wanna-
game before it ripped off the battle royale mechanic. Like,
I don't want to upset Fortnite fans, so I'll step up.
You can be the Rock, man. Hey.
and John Cena. It's just
And John Cena. Versing Thanos and Darth
Yep.
Vader.
What an
Mandalorian.
experience! What an experience!
Yeah. Hey, man. Don't be a hater.
These are the stories. These are the stories we'll tell our grandkids. This one time I played as Rick from Rick and Morty, and I shot Ariana Grande. Ha 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 ha.
Hey, man. Hey, they'll probably be like, yeah, I'm playing it now.
sucked all the fun out of the room.
Anyway.
That was no fun to begin
Enough
with.
of
Mass
old
delusion.
man yelling at clouds, Conan. So, we'll get into the topic of the week. So this week, obviously, there was Gamescom opening night live, hosted by Jeff Keighley. None of us wanted to get up at 4 a.m. to watch it because I don't think we were expecting too much from the show. There was some good showings, but I didn't regret not getting up at 4 a.m. for it. I think you guys probably feel the same on a work day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll go through a couple of the announcements and just get our thoughts on it. First one I want to talk about, there's a game everywhere. Now, this is a new developer. So actually from the former head of Rockstar Games, creator of Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, he's founded his own studio. He's making a game everywhere. Now, this it's a short one. It's just a teaser. Kind of hard to discuss what this game's about because it looks very cartoony and arcadey, like cars driving around. But then there's like a CGI dude, like as if he's in the Matrix or something, reacting to things. It's a bit of a. There's more than meets the eye with this game, I feel like, but I'm intrigued.
I feel like this is going to be a driving game with like a hub world that you can run around in, but I don't know.
I'm not intrigued.
Oh, no,
anymore.
maybe there is more. No, it does look like there's a lot of there's gunplay and stuff. Who knows?
Yeah.
Is this game everything? Is that why it's called
Everything,
Everywhere?
everywhere.
The title like everywhere.
Will there be crossovers with IP, Conan? Could you imagine?
Oh god, I hope so because that's what I need in my life. I need to know that two things can interact.
All right, shut up.
My monkey brain just needs that energy, man.
Grana, any other thoughts for this, or
No,
there's not too much to go on?
Hasn't excited me. I guess that's an ongoing theme at this show. I don't know. To me, it made the Xbox show last year really stand out because they had gameplay of everything, and it really shows how good that is in a show like this. Because this was lots of little teasers, and I was like, ugh.
My main note on this was a lot of CGI and not knowing what this actually is or how this plays.
Yep.
So yeah.
I mean, those teasers have got to come out somewhere. I suppose they want to announce them in advance, but I don't know, to have a whole show of it is a bit draining.
Definitely. Next up, Dune Awakening. So
Luke is just chomping at the bit for a good Dune game. Is this it, Luke?
Oh, I like, watching this trailer, you'd think so. Like, this trailer is an awesome trailer. I feel like it looks beautiful, obviously CGI, and it's all like setting the mood and the theme. And I was just like, oh, this, like, just watching it, I'm like, oh, this would be an awesome like third person action adventure Dune game, but it's not. It's an open world MMO, survival MMO.
Survival. Don't forget the word survival.
Yeah.
Survival
survival
MMO.
MMO.
Something that completely wipes all my interest straight away. Not hating on it. It's just, it's not for me. And I know it can't be.
But go ahead.
I was just going to say, this seems like the perfect genre and game for you, Grona, as a fan of this series.
No, I mean, I don't know if that's true. I'm willing to give it see what it looks like first, I guess. Because the idea of like being able to, imagine you get to choose between being like a colonist and a Freeman, and you get to, choose a tribe within that and, explore Arrakis and fight over spice. Like, maybe there's something fun there. But yeah, like I'm a long way past MMOs. My days of World of Warcraft are long behind me.
Yeah.
But MMO has come to mean something weird too. Like there's lots of games called MMOs where it's like you can jump in with 6 friends and here's a hub world where you can see other players, and that's the MMO part. Maybe that's all we're getting here, and that would make me more interested in this game probably, honestly, but we'll see.
Yeah. Conan, any thoughts on this?
Nah, similar deal. A Dune game would be cool. It's a big world to tell a lot of stories in. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I want to play a survival MMO, but similar deal. It's just MMOs aren't really my thing in general, and I feel like they're time funnels. I feel like they really do need a lot of investment.
Absolutely.
And then if I was going to
And-
play one, why wouldn't I just play the better survival MMO, Age of Conan?
Is that your
What?
game?
No, it's a real game. It's a timeless
No.
classic.
Yeah.
Timeless
Yeah.
classic. That's what everybody says.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Next up, Conan. I know you'll be excited for this. Hogwarts Legacy showed a new trailer. With
Guess which trailer I didn't watch.
with its release date.
I mean, it showed nothing we haven't seen before.
It showed more just it focused on the dark
same.
arts
Yeah.
and all that. Not too much. This was basically its trailer to say we now have a collector's edition and a pre-order bonus. Any trailer that ends with like a big list of pre-order bonuses kind of makes me cringe a bit. But
You guys love pre-order bonuses. What are you talking about?
now Conan, you are a fan of collector's edition. So did you see this collector's edition went live today for a small price of $500? It came with a statue.
Comes with an owl.
It's actually pretty
a
cool.
real life owl.
It came with a statue of an open book, like a big textbook that's open.
It's a statue. It's not a real book. Okay.
With a floating wand. So the wand uses magnetics to float above the book.
That's actually pretty cool.
Magnets are the closest thing we have to
cool.
magic.
Wait, how do magnets work?
Well, that's for our other podcast. But $500 for this statue floating wand book. Sold out straight away, going for double the price on eBay at the moment.
I should have flipped it. I should have.
Harry Potter IP. Obviously, this was gonna, go gangbusters. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm actually keen for this game. I do think this has potential to be good. The only thing holding me back, like everything I see, I think looks like it can be fun. The only thing holding me back is I don't feel like Portkey Games has done much to instill faith in me that this is a quality developer. I don't know too much about them at all, and this is a big project for them compared to what they've made before. So we'll see how it goes. But obviously, it comes out next February on all platforms, even Nintendo Switch. So now, this next one I'm excited for. A new Tales from the Borderlands.
You are actually seriously excited for this? I wasn't sure if you were joking or not.
No, so okay.
He's a fan.
Tales from the Borderlands. I'm not a Borderlands fan at all. Couldn't get into that series. Tales from the Borderlands is one of my favorite games of all time. Possibly my favorite Telltale game. No one played it, but I will maintain today, up there with Portal and Portal 2, this is one of the funniest games I've ever played. Like, that game had me in stitches the entire time, like, where I was just like, this writing is genuinely hilarious, like, and the acting is funny. Then it ended on a twist. Telltale went bankrupt, shut down. We never got a sequel. Now this is 6 years later, and we're getting a new one. The trailer
is like a zombie Telltale. What's going on there? Because there's another Telltale game as well.
Yeah, they're publishing it or something.
It's weird. It's sort of Telltale by name, but it's not. Like, they're using Telltale's style of games and Telltale's branding, but Telltale as a developer does not exist anymore.
It says it's been restructured and is under new management, whatever that means.
Yeah, and THQ Nordic, I believe, bought them all. So yeah, but
that name carries something, so they probably keep using it. Yeah.
This trailer I didn't think was too bad. Like, it's the dumb Borderlands fun. It reminded me of the original game. It didn't make me laugh like the old one did, but I can see the potential there. So I'm hoping that it's as good because, like, neither of you guys played the original Tales from the Borderlands.
I remember playing like half an hour at your house.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Didn't convince you.
No.
If the writing is anything like Borderlands 3, I'm good, thanks.
It's better than that. It's better.
Okay.
Like I really recommend that game. It's really good.
Actually, yeah, people say it's better than it deserves to be, which is weird.
Yeah. That's the thing. Towards Telltale's end, they put out some bangers. Like the Batman Telltale game we're at is actually really good, with a really good Joker, but nobody played it. They were already at the
No.
end of their
Yeah, they'd
spiral.
lost.
People were
lost-
over it. The next trailer I got here, Word Song. So this is from a former Bethesda Games Studios designer, Jeff Gardner, and Obsidian Entertainment alumni, Charlie Staples. So obviously this trailer starts off by saying all the Bethesda games that, from the creators of
Look what
this.
we made. Not
It
really.
hypes you up because it's like, oh man, what is this? Is this the new Fallout? But this is more like a concept trailer, obviously. It's only about half a minute or so. It's just interesting art style if this is what the game actually looks like. But any thoughts? I didn't write too much down.
I mean, they showed
Nothing.
like
Nothing.
absolutely nothing. The name doesn't mean anything. I mean, I'm interested to see.
It means
given
weird.
the developer, I'm interested to see what happens, but it shows nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of nothing at this show.
Yeah. I mean, naturally, I pre-ordered 2 copies,
Of
2
course.
collector's copies.
Of course. They comes with words and songs. Word song. The next game was Dead Island 2. Now, obviously, this game was revealed it was announced back in 2014. This game was originally with its original CGI trailer that didn't show gameplay. Went through development hell, has changed developers, everything like that. It's now been re-revealed again with a release date for February next year. I actually didn't mind the CGI trailer though. Like, it's another CGI trailer. Obviously, you kind of know what you're getting with Dead Island, but I kind of enjoyed the trailer. I was like, it's chaotic. It's just, absurd, but I don't know. I found it humorous at least. But
How did they get Lenny Kravitz's likeness?
100%. I was like, oh my god, is this Lenny Kravitz? Surely. I was like, there's a lawsuit coming. I guarantee you the next week.
Dead Island has a weird pedigree of having good CGI trailers. Do you remember the original one for Dead Island?
I always remember the original trailer.
That's the golden standard.
Yeah,
man.
It really is.
It's very strange, but anyway, it's.
Like,
I mean, I liked the first Dead Island. If this game's
Did anybody?
like
I thought that game flopped.
so
it did flop a bit. I picked it up for very cheap and played it with some friends and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So the original Dead Island, I remember being so like the contrast of the original trailer to what the game was.
Yeah,
Like I remember being so hyped after the first trailer, being like, okay, cool, this actual emotional zombie game. And then when it turned out to be what I was like, oh, okay, it's like Left 4 Dead or Dead Rising, but in first person. Absurd, like, using electrified chainsaws or whatever. I was out. I never played it, but I was like, I don't need another one of them. Like, the original trailer had me hyped, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe now I'm in the mood for it. Dead Rising's long dead, and Left 4 Dead. It was
Hey,
Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead's back for blood, man.
Oh,
See what I
look
did
at
there?
that.
Look
Double
at that?
entendre.
I don't think first person melee is very fun to play.
Me neither. It's a weird. I don't know why
Yeah.
we're trying to keep it alive. It's not.
No,
not-
let's be done with it.
Played what's that one that came out a few years ago, and the sequel just came out earlier this year?
Skyrim. No.
Dying
it's-
Light. Dying Light. Did you play Dying Light?
No, I didn't.
I've heard good things about that.
I have. And I mean, it is the original developer of Dead Island.
Yeah,
The
okay,
the
yeah.
original game.
True.
So I mean, obviously there's that pedigree, but yeah, I just don't enjoy first person melee. I don't think it's fun.
No,
I don't like as in everything I played of Dead Island 1 would have been just as fun in third person. Being in first person added nothing.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Next up, we've got a bonus XP favorite, Callisto Protocol, one of Conan's star draft picks.
I watched. I watched this trailer 5 times.
So, there seems to be a theme with these trailers. They all end with a brutal murder of the main character.
Which is so good. That's well done. Like I like that. I appreciate it.
It's great. What were your thoughts after watching this gameplay? Did this decrease your hype or increase it?
Like personally, my hype's pretty. I don't know. It's pretty high. I don't think it can get any higher.
Yeah.
Like, I'm intentionally not trying to be like look for reasons to get pumped or trying to read about it to get into it. I'm just like, it's going to be a good game. I'm very keen for it. I'll play it day one.
Yeah.
And this trailer just looks more and more. I'm like, yeah, good. They're committed to it. They're doing good stuff with it.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's supported my beliefs rather than increased them or challenged them or anything.
Yeah. Definitely. Griner, did you like this trailer?
Yeah, it
This
was
was
cool.
gameplay. It was gameplay.
Yeah.
All gameplay. Which
That's
was
right.
good.
There was gameplay. I don't know how I felt about the extended sequence of him, like, what was it, falling down a waterfall or whatever.
It's felt like it went for a while.
Yeah, it went for a while. Didn't really do much for me, but I don't know. It seems to be a big focus on a gravity gun, which
Yeah.
are we over gravity guns yet? I don't know. Gravity
You
guns are
bite
cool.
your tongue.
Gravity guns are cool in Half-Life 2, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I
Don't
still love them. But
gatekeep gravity weapons.
To be fair,
gatekeeping, I'm giving my opinion.
Other games can.
this is why I asked if it. I don't know. This trailer didn't do much for me. Like the first time he threw the person in there with the gravity gun, I was like, okay, cool. But it seemed to be like a focus that they kept on. I was like, it's not that cool. It's like the thing that disappointed me was like, it's not like I'm seeing much when they go in the blender. It was like they were just like disappearing and just blood was coming out. Like it wasn't like, I don't know. It didn't feel like it had an impact. But I don't know. That can always be stuff that's
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to give this game a shot, but
oh, definitely, I'm very keen. I want it to fail, just to affect Conan's draft score now. But it's a cruel twist because I was really looking forward to this game. But my
how petty.
my pettiness,
Yeah,
supersedes my own interests. Next game I've got written here. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I feel like Griner's probably interested in it, and that is Friends vs. Friends.
I was just looking. What was this game again? I don't know that
So
I'm that interested. It's a card-based shooter.
It's card-based first-person shooter. Card-based is the only reason I think it could pique your interest. But
it doesn't. Again, like I don't know what that means in terms of this game.
So that I had that note for this trailer because like it's like a minute and a half, and the first minute is all this basically concept. It's just like an anime opening for a show. The last like 20 seconds shows just raw gameplay.
The gameplay does not look that exciting.
It doesn't look good, in my opinion. So, yeah,
I don't know. Again, I'll just wait and see if it's any good.
Yeah, no,
I'm not against it because it's a card game, unlike you, Luke. No. But yeah,
also not for it just because it is a card
just because it's a card game. That's right.
Yeah, no, true. Fair enough. The next game I've got here, Gotham Knights. Now, this is probably going to end up being my biggest regret that this is on my actual draft list and not a poison pick on somebody else's. Because the more I see of this game, the more I'm like, oh, this is going to be a disaster.
It's definitely coming out this year, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like October 21st. And like, I don't know, like, the more I saw this, I'm just like, I feel like this looks worse than Arkham City did. Like, I don't know, like the graphics and everything. I feel like there's no story. I feel like this is their thing to be like, they're catching up to the train 10 years late where they're like, oh my God, multiplayer is in. Let's have Batman Arkham, but multiplayer. Look how cool this is. And like, I feel like it's going to be an excuse to try and have microtransactions and like, you know, Destiny, like events and stuff like that. Like, oh, now we're doing this. This crazy night's happening in Gotham. So join your friends and come and play. But I'm not hyped for this game at all. Are you guys the same?
Yeah. I think that's everyone's opinion of this game, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
I feel like it's a very middling response to this game.
Yeah,
but it's coming out earlier than they expected, which is
a few days earlier.
A change of pace to
doesn't happen that often that a game
no
they move it up. They need to get it out soon because they're like, oh, God of War Ragnarok is only 2 weeks after. We better get a few more days of sales. Now, the next game here, Where Winds Meet. Now, my only note for this was I was like, this looks like, you know that meme, we have this at home? This was like, we have Ghost of Tsushima at home. It was
that's just racist.
Like, no, it looked like it. There's shots in this where it's like, oh, that's Ghost of Tsushima, but doesn't look as good or is not running as well. Looks a lot more stiff and everything like that. What did you guys think of this samurai-based game? Looks like a lot more arcade. Like she's running on water and stuff like that. But yeah,
it felt very early.
Yeah, it felt early. Definitely felt, which I don't mind. Like, at least they're showing the real thing. But yeah, we didn't get a release date or anything, so that's good. But it needs a bit of
Yeah,
time in the oven, I think.
like it feels more supernatural than Ghost of Tsushima, but it
Yeah,
feels
definitely.
less supernatural than like Sekiro, something. So it's
Yeah,
kind of like almost like a Souls light or I don't know, a more Souls esque Tsushima. So it's definitely like an in between, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like I'm cool with that, and I don't
th-
like historical China doesn't really get much love in games. It's usually like
yeah.
feudal Japan is like the go-to setting. So I'm interested to see where what they do, if anything, with it.
But we're getting like 2 games this year set in this setting too. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
oh, 2
This
or 3
happens though.
actually. There's that Wukong game as well.
Yeah,
Like,
Wukong, yeah.
Yeah.
This
was it?
happens right though. You get like ebbs and flows where
Yeah,
you'll have nothing and then everyone makes the same thing because they think that's a hot topic.
Yeah.
So
it's
it could get lost in it, definitely.
yeah. There's some weird moments in this trailer. Like she's climbing around on a ship, but the ship feels really empty. Like there's no one on there.
Yeah.
It feels like it's very early. I don't know.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'll wait and see. But yeah, it didn't excite me.
Hmm.
Speaking of being the game at home, Lies of P. Now, I was kind of hyped for this just about the chatter around it, but watching the trailer today, I don't know. It obviously is very heavily inspired by Bloodborne, but it does not like I've played Bloodborne, so this doesn't excite me at all. Like it feels like a lesser quality Bloodborne from what I'm seeing. Um, your guys' thoughts, Grana? You haven't played Bloodborne,
I
so
know
did
this
this
might be something I can actually play. No, I mean
did
I
this
think
game do anything for you?
it looked kind of cool. Like it looks more steampunk than Bloodborne. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like
Yeah,
is
yeah,
there any?
yeah.
There's no electricity in Bloodborne.
No.
No.
But yeah, inspired by Pinocchio is an interesting
Yeah,
thing.
it ends
Like
on
Yeah.
that liar thing, but like
yeah,
I don't know. Like if this was from FromSoft, there'd be a part of me I'd be like, okay, I know this will play good, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Do you
know.
think
Yeah, like there definitely seems to be a FromSoft inspiration there. Like the running around with the sword on the shoulder. Like a lot of it looks very similar to that.
looks like
But
some looks identical.
yeah,
Yeah, there's like some level layouts, like the bridge, where I'm like, this is Bloodborne. Like this is the way he did that to his weapon. That's Bloodborne. Like
yeah.
all of this is Bloodborne. Um,
But do you think like Souls-like games are so sort of ubiquitous now that it's because I know what you're saying, like with the FromSoft game, it's gonna play well, but everyone sort of does Souls-like games now. So do you think it'll be that hard to make it play well?
No, I
Like I
don't think
no,
feel,
so. I worry its budget might not meet what it's trying to do.
that's the
Hmm.
thing. It's not like it's from like like Team Ninja with Neo or anything. This is I don't know who this developer is really, and it's like,
Yeah, so who's making
and
it?
I don't know. It's coming day one Game Pass. It just seems like well, that's its budget.
There's a
Like,
there's a there's a great when you Google it. There's the top article from PC Gamer is Lies of P can't fool us. It's literally Bloodborne. Very funny.
yeah,
Uh,
liar. It's a
I'll,
lie.
I mean, I read somewhere it's got like they're using a lie mechanic where your lies will actually, if you tell the truth or a lie to character, it will affect the story, and
Your
it's
nose gets bigger.
like all well, yeah, which is pretty dope. It's
Then
like
you can use it as a weapon.
Oh my god, he
imagine
snaps it
that
off, sharpens it, and starts
the
stabbing people.
best weapon in the game.
Yeah.
I'll give this a go. Who am I? Who am I
I mean,
kidding?
Game Pass day one. Like, what have I got to lose?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's true. So next, obviously we had stuff like High on Life, which is Justin Roiland's new game.
I mean, I don't know. Is that not just Rick and Morty straight up? Like, who's he
It
fooling?
is.
I don't
It
think
is.
anyone, but
He's what was it? Was it Trevor Saves the Universe or something like that came out a few years ago. I actually
yeah,
really enjoyed that. It was before I watched Rick and Morty, and I really enjoyed the humor in that. And then I've now watched Rick and Morty, and it's so like that game is Rick and Morty. Going back to it,
yeah.
this looks like more of that. It seems funny. I'll play it, but yeah, not too much to write home about. Um, Moving Out 2 is coming out. I really
Moving
enjoyed
out
the
is
first.
so good. So
I
yeah,
really enjoyed the first Moving Out. I actually want to play it with you guys,
yeah,
because I really enjoy that game. Similar with Overcooked, I feel like that game, is great at testing friendships and
yep.
can test podcast hosts. So we should see how we go as a team, see how well we work together. But yeah,
what is this?
Moving Out.
What is this game?
So
You
it's Overcooked, but yeah, unpacking a house and
You're
moving furniture.
unpacking a house into a truck, but you've both got to carry one end of the couch, and it's got to fit sideways through this doorway. And
you have to fit all the items into the truck, and
everything won't fit into the truck, so someone's constantly managing that stuff. Like it's one of those chaos games that's fun. It's like in Halo 2 when you could press X to delay the countdown. It's like that, the video game. That's what this is. It's press X. Press X to delay the countdown.
That was my favorite part of playing Halo.
I know, that was a lot of people's favorite part. It was also the part they were best at for a lot of people. But
yeah, yeah. But that's the thing, because I feel like even I think this is an Australian developer as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I really enjoyed the first one, so I'm keen for more. It'll be fun.
Yep.
Now I don't have too much else from this show to talk about personally. There was Under the Waves, which caught my attention. Just because it's from Quantic Dream is helping make this game, and I'm a big fan of their past games. But Under the Waves, yeah, I don't know. It's more of a concept trailer.
Yeah, and I don't think David Cage is attached to this, which could be for the
No,
best.
it seems like they're more. I don't know. Everyone gives David Cage a hard time. He seems like
Rightly
he probably is a complete douchebag, but I like his games.
Yeah, I like Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit's good. Detroit's good. Beyond Two Souls,
Ryan, not convinced.
not too much. Heavy Rain was great too.
Yeah, I missed that train.
Jason.
The Lords of the Fallen. So I'm excited for this, and I'll tell you why.
I was going to say, you like the original, is that why?
No, because I never got a chance to play the original. But I feel like that was one of those, like, the original Souls-like clones that really leaned into the whole we're just doing what they do. And so it might have been too early, and it might have been when people couldn't quite perfect it, like FromSoft, so it was clunky, I don't know. But it was one of those games that I heard talked about a lot where, if you really love the Souls formula, give this a go. But it wasn't good enough that it really broke down and never broke out and really made it big. But I always sort of wanted to. I always wanted to give it a go. I had it downloaded on my Xbox for years.
Yeah.
And it's like, one day I'll play you, and I just never did. So now they're remaking. I'm like, cool, or remake / sequel. I don't know.
Rebooting, apparently, a lot of people are saying as well. But
okay. Yeah. So I'm kind of keen for that. Like, gives me a chance to play how it should be.
Because it's Vikings, isn't it?
I think like fantasy. I think it's just
really
fantasy.
Vikings,
sort of,
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The cover of the original one looked like Vikings, definitely.
Yeah, I know it from the original cover, and that I had the soundtrack, the score to this game,
Okay.
just through my job at the time. Got a copy of it because it was just like a promo thing, and I was like, "Hey, who wants the soundtrack to Lord of the Fallen?" And I was like, "I like Vikings," but the CD went in the bin because the music wasn't that great. So, now, was there anything else that caught anyone's attention?
Speaking of Lords of the Fallen, there's Atlas Fallen, which
Atlas Fallen, yes. Okay,
it looked kind of cool. Like, and it's made by Deck 13, who made the original Lords of the Fallen, but they also made The Surge, which is another good Souls-like. This trailer looked kind of cool. I kind of like the idea of like sand being
sand gliding. Looked really cool.
Like being being an element in the world. Maybe this is the Dune game you want, Luke.
Maybe. No, it looked alright. So
I don't know if there's like a Monster Hunter element there, because it seemed to be players versus these creatures. So maybe it's going to be like a co-op type thing. I don't know. It looked cool. I thought it looked nice.
I think the Rock Paper Shotgun article said it was like a Monster Hunter.
I did see that around.
So that
I never got into Monster Hunter.
No, neither. But it seems like one of those franchises that people are fans of. Man, people love that stuff.
It is really good. I played a lot of Monster Hunter World and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, okay.
I guess the problem is it's a big time sink. Like, it wants you to grind out a whole bunch of monsters, and I just didn't have the time to do that. But
the idea of that, and I'd hear people like, playing online with their friends, like, oh, we're going on a hunt. That sounded cool. Like, but yeah, in my old age and my responsibilities, the word grind, I'm just like, okay, no.
Yeah,
I don't want to grind in games.
Yeah.
Like, I paid too much money to not grind in Valhalla because I just wanted to just get through the story, and that still, I mean, it saved me 50 hours, but it still was 70 hours that game. I don't want to grind for more, so not for me. But touching on Telltale as well, so a Telltale series, so another Telltale game for The Expanse. I haven't watched this show. I've heard good things about it and always been keen to watch it, but
I watched the first season. It's a cool show.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
I kinda wanna
avoided
jump back
watching
in.
this trailer because I haven't watched the show. I didn't want to. It's not like it would have big spoilers, but it's one of the shows that I'm mean to go back and watch. So, keen for this. Are you excited, Grana, watching?
I'm not
Having watched
interested
the
in
show?
playing a Telltale game ever again. I think I played The Walking Dead 1 and 2 and I've had my fill.
Oh wow, I'm so into that style of game, because I find it's just
why?
it's like because in my opinion, it's like a perfect balance of movie and game. I don't have to think about it too much. I can just sit there and relax. I don't have to be like awesome gamer or and it's something like I don't know. Me and my wife can enjoy it. It's something we can both pass the control over and play and just
I
affect
understand
the
that.
story. And I enjoy that sort of story choice games. But yeah, linear is my style. Linear Luke.
I'm happy for you.
Oh, thanks.
What about the Outlast trials? You guys keen for that? Because you're not a horror fan, or because you're not an
Outlast
Outlast
is
fan?
too scary.
No, I agree 100%.
Oh, so this is yeah.
The original has always been my holy grail. I want to play it so much, but every time I look at it, I'm like, nah.
Have you
screw
ever
that.
tried it at all?
No, I watched a playthrough of number 2,
Yeah.
and here's my thing with horror games like this, right? It was the same with Resident Evil. The one, was it 7 where you're in the house?
7. Yeah.
Where there's always this weird thing where people see you and it's kind of like you can run and dodge, and the getting out of their line of sight or like surviving them just doesn't gel in my mind. In my mind, if they see you, they should just be able to hunt you and catch you and you're dead. But in these, it's like you move past them when they see you, and if you run just out of the area, it's fine. And that was kind of the same with Outlast 2. I remember there'd be parts where you just they would just run through areas because like you would know that if you get past there, you're fine. And that really kills the immersion for me.
Breaks the game kind of thing.
That doesn't make you clench your butt cheeks and like run. Doesn't do it for you. No.
Having played Resident Evil 7 in VR, it's pretty terrifying being chased down and trying to break that line of sight.
But I just remember playing it because I played it at your house, and I remember there's always these moments where I'm like, I can't go down there because if he sees me at all, I'll be dead. But the whole point of the game was like you've got to just sort of run past him, and you got to try to get out of the way of a swing, or you wait for him, you move around him and then keep running. I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. But I can't gel that in my mind. It's just like I'm like, no. So that's my thing. That's my thesis.
True.
Can I talk about Moonbreaker for a moment?
I was just looking at Moonbreaker. I was like, this might be a growing game.
You're right. It might be. I don't know yet. Look, when I saw what it was, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look interesting to me. But it's from the Subnautica developer, who I have a lot of respect for. Subnautica is a really good game. They did really well with that. They describe it as Hearthstone meets XCOM, 2 games that I have had a lot of love for in the past. Yeah. And this year I've dove into the Cosmere, which is Brandon Sanderson's book universe.
Brandon Sanderson's game.
And he's writing the universe for this game. And I'm just devouring anything he's doing at the moment. So I'm really keen for that. I don't know about painting miniatures.
And it has miniatures that you can paint?
I don't know. I don't know about that, but I don't know. Other than that, I'm like super keen to see how this turns out. I might give a go to the early access if I can get in. It's not far away.
No, not at all.
And they're describing the world as like Firefly type world, which that kind of world is something I really enjoy. And the book I'm reading by Brandon Sanderson at the moment is set in like the frontier. So if it's anything like that, I'll probably really enjoy it. I don't know. I'm really keen for it.
Yeah. Conan, did this pique your interest at all?
So it's 2 parts. Brandon Sanderson's name piqued my interest, definitely, because he's like the
and
he's like
miniatures.
he's in top tier fantasy authors. Like he'd be in the top.
Yeah, he's like
almost.
So hot right now.
He really is. Which anyway,
he just writes, right. Like he wrote 4 books during lockdown. The dude's a machine.
I nearly vomited. He was just like, instead of writing 2 books, I wrote 4. I'm like, you prick.
Yeah,
he needs to help George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, well,
he finished The Wheel of Time after that writer died. Like he's done a lot of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, like he is definitely gonna like his name's up in the pantheon of all time greats. So that interested me, but the miniatures did not. That turned me off it.
Yeah. When I saw it was little little miniatures fighting on the board, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. Can't they just be
Yeah.
characters? But I
Yeah.
get what they're doing with the painting. That's big too. People love that.
Yeah,
I've been interested in it myself personally in the past, but I've never picked it up. Probably for the best, especially for my wallet. But
Yeah. I have some friends who are into Warhammer at the moment, and just hearing about some of the money that goes into that, it startles me.
Yeah. Now, 3 huge announcements that I think ended the show, really. 3 biggest things. We've got a Pokemon car, Hideo Kojima competing with us, with a podcast,
that's right. Yeah.
and Sony revolutionaries, as usual, the DualSense Edge. So, Conan, what this is, it's like a PlayStation controller, but it's like a pro controller. You can take the analog sticks off. It's got paddles on the back.
So it's literally just copying the.
How
Elite
awesome
controller.
is that?
It's quite literally just. Geez, I hope they get sued for that. Geez, I hope they get sued. Oh wait, can they deal with any more lawsuits, Luke? I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
Gungy bastards.
Well,
What is Hideo Kojima's podcast on? Is it just games?
I don't
It's
really
called
know.
Mind something.
It's
What is it called?
Is it just him talking about Death Stranding theories for hours on end?
it's just a Death Stranding podcast.
It's just like
I've missed the name of it again. It's something, but I'm on the wait list to try and have him on as a guest so we can.
yeah, we'll promote him. Tell him that we'll get his name. We'll get his name out there.
Yeah, we can jump on his podcast if he wants. But
That'd be a lot of
Brain
fun.
structure, it's called.
yeah,
Brain
brain
structure.
structure. It flows off the tongue.
It doesn't say anything about what it's about.
He probably doesn't know.
Yeah.
Hold up.
At this point, he's just like, hey, podcasts look fun. I love watching Bonus XP. I should do that with my friends. Me and Jeff Keighley.
According to this, real quick, yeah, we take a deep dive into Kojima's brain and shed light on his creative process. So it's literally just going to be talking about why he's so smart, I think.
You think he's like a Quentin Tarantino type, where he's just like a little bit up his own ass? Like,
I think I get that vibe, especially over the past 5 years. I feel ever since PT, it's really ever since PT, and sort of the cult that's formed around that.
yeah, true.
I think he's leaning into it more.
I mean,
Like maybe he's that. Maybe he deserves it though. Maybe he deserves the praise. I don't know, but
if
I
you,
downloaded Death Stranding today.
did you?
I'm going to give it a go. Yeah, it's on Game Pass. So
I'm actually so excited to hear your impression of Death Stranding next fortnight. I really want to hear you talk about Death Stranding because
I'll make sure I give it a go before then.
Out of anybody I know, I feel like this is the game that like you could get hooked on, and
yeah,
I feel
maybe.
I couldn't. And being a Hideo Kojima fanboy, it just wasn't my thing. But I feel like the type of gameplay it is, like you could really get into it. So we'll see. Now, boys, that's all from Gamescom. There wasn't much to talk about. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss from the news this week?
I don't know if it's
Conan.
I don't know if it's good listening material, but
It's
Sony's
kind of empty.
You just want to make
Sony's-
Luke mad.
like a little bit, but also it's something that I would enjoy talking about, but I don't think we all have an actual discussion about. I think there's tempers and there's egos and there's fanboy isms. What happened in the past fortnight of news? Sony's being sued for monopolizing the game market, essentially.
Okay, now I don't get this. I don't get this argument. It seems like someone just trying to make a buck. Like, how can you sue a company
They can't
for
make bucks. Only
selling their
Sony can make
products
bucks.
for selling their products at a price that they deem worth it? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I guess the thing that gets me the most about this is that Nintendo has been doing this for years.
Yes,
And I'm sure that we've had this conversation, Luke, where
no
we've
one
been
bats an eye.
well, I'm sure, but this is the thing. We've had this conversation where you and I have both been like, how dare Nintendo? It's gross that they do this. And now Sony's being sued for it. And you're like, so they're allowed to? What's wrong with that? And the hypocrisy is palpable.
No, here's the thing, though. This is the difference. Like, Nintendo, 5 years later, are still charging $80 for Breath of the Wild, right? And not being sued for it. Sony, a year after games are coming out, are either going free on their service, or they're discounted at your local store for $30-$40.
But they're
Like,
not but they're not
like
digitally discounted. Is that
no.
correct?
So Horizon, yeah, no. There's digital. Sony do digital sales all the time. They just change the name of them. It's always a digital sale. Horizon Zero Dawn came out this 1 month before Breath of the Wild, and to buy Horizon Zero Dawn on any given month in the past 2 years, $9. And it's a better game than Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild's $80.
Not.
So I don't get it. It's not like they're keeping it at $120. They discount their games after a few months. So I don't get the argument at all. It's stupid. It's a
I
completely stupid thing. It's like when someone sues, I don't know, a slushy company because it was cold. Like, it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. It just seems like someone just, America, some dude just trying to sue a company to get rich quick.
No, the thing they're going after them for is that Sony takes a 30% cut on all digital purchases, even in-game stuff. And so that fee gets passed on to consumers, and they don't have a choice where else to like, there's not another app store they can download or anything.
Well, this goes into the whole Fortnite lawsuit, doesn't it, with Apple?
Yeah.
And Epic, because like
Yep.
Epic found a way where they could sell their loot boxes through Apple, but not through the App Store, and then Apple took them off because they're like, no, you need to go through us so we get our cut. I don't know. It's just, that's Sony's fee. Whatever.
Yes, but Sony has a near monopoly on the sale of digital games and add-on content through its PlayStation Store. Sony uses that dominance to enforce strict terms and conditions on game developers and publishers. These terms allow Sony to set the price of digital games and in-game content and charge a 30% commission on every purchase of digital games and in-game content from the PlayStation Store. This results in excessive and unfair prices to consumers for their digital games. These prices are out of all proportion to the costs of Sony providing these services to their consumers. Yeah. And don't forget, this is being sued in Europe, where there's a lot of strong consumer law around this sort of thing. Like, Europe is where, Apple has to start providing adapters for all their phone chargers. Europe is where they make all of these monopolies change their ways.
But, so, Griner, like, do you agree with this? Like, I don't see... Sony doesn't... It's not like their prices for their games are insane. Out of anyone...
That's not the lawsuit.
But he's saying... But 100%, when you were reading all that, I was like, oh, okay, so it's about this whole different thing. But it ends with their prices are like... over the top.
I think what it is,
for their you said
yes,
their
prices,
games.
Basically all in-game purchases will have a 30% higher cost on PlayStation, and it costs PlayStation basically nothing to allow people to purchase. Like, there's little cost for Sony to allow someone to purchase in-game through their service, and yet they make a 30% cut on it, which gets passed on to the consumer. That's the crux of it. It's not that for Horizon Zero Dawn is available for $9. That's not what this lawsuit's about.
And it's in the same vein, I guess, as two other things. Sony just recently as well have announced that for no real reason at all, they're going to charge more for their console hardware in a bunch of different countries.
Okay. Let's move on to that one.
Global market suggests it. But B, it's also just it's the same reason why Nintendo can logically keep charging $80 for Breath of the Wild, even though it's quote unquote an inferior game. It's like, but they made it. Why can't they? They've done this. And it's like, yeah, they're not doing anything illegal, but there is something that I think you can feel in your bones that is wrong. That the idea that everyone else is making games doesn't charge $100 for a game that's 20 years old, but you get some of these, for whatever reasons, certain groups that do. Nintendo does it, and I think it's because they, as we talked about, they have a name, and Sony's doing it here with like, oh, but it's on our store, we charge a surcharge, and it's like, well, yeah, you can do that, but it's wrong to. That's not cool.
Conan.
Yo.
We are going through a pandemic at the moment with massive supply shortages across the country. Is the PS5 going up in cost? Is that the only thing that's going up in the cost in the world? Or are you finding the prices going up for everything?
But this is exactly it.
There's been chip shortages. That means it's costing more to get these stuff. How long is it
coming
taking?
to an end?
But
the
how
chip
long
shortage
is it
on its tail end?
And wasn't that because of the Bitcoin thing, not a pandemic thing? Like,
no, that was exacerbating it, but it's not the only cause.
I think this just reeks of numerous of companies that do this. They jump on the bandwagon of inflation, cost of living increase, and they say times are tough everywhere. We have to increase our prices. And then as soon as you see companies release their quarterly profits, they somehow make more than they did. And we've seen that all pandemic. We've seen
Yeah.
that through almost every big corporation. They've had increased profits. They haven't had decreased. And so
Yeah.
these things like this, these increases because there's shortages, there's supply chain issues. They actually don't, they're not doing anything. All they're doing is increasing the profits for the company. So they're actually not covering losses. They are gouging. They're amoral,
No.
unethical gouging.
No. It was widely talked about for ages that like the PlayStation 5 launching at that price, they're losing money on that.
That's such bullshit, though. That's
No.
such bullshit.
No,
Even if
it's not.
even if that was true, which I don't think it was, I feel like that is a bigger, like with any of these businesses, that is a bigger issue than just as simple as, oh, the Sony PlayStation costs X amount to make and sell, and then we sell it for a cheaper amount. There are bigger numbers and bigger factors going into play. And so no one does these business choices going, oh, we're losing on this. They might take a hit because they make a big profit some other way. And so I don't think that's as simple as argument as, oh, they're losing money on the PlayStation console. Because if that was that simple, they wouldn't do it. They do it because there is more
Look,
complexity to it.
Consoles get cheaper to make over time too. Like these consoles aren't brand new. How old are they now? 2 years? 3 years?
2 years.
2 years? Like
2 years.
I guarantee you, Sony is paying less to make a PlayStation 5 today than what they were 2 years ago.
Really? With all the chip shortages and everything?
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we'll see, but I doubt their costs are going up.
No, but okay.
But I mean, Facebook just increased the cost of their hardware too. But not that Meta's a company you want to follow, right? Like,
Conan, Netflix is increasing its prices. All these streaming services are increasing their prices. Why should a PS5,
that's not an argument.
Everyone's shitting in the streets.
No,
Why can't I do it?
But a PS5 going up by $50 for this piece of hardware when every year an iPhone with minimal upgrades is coming out and it's an extra $1,000 than what it was the year before, and people don't bat an eye. But $50 for a console that is worth the price. How can people complain about that when I go to Woolies, man? Lettuce is costing $25 all of a sudden.
No,
when it costs, not now, but no, a couple months ago it was costing $20 when they're usually $2. Strawberries and blueberries, which my kids love, are like $8 for a little box when it used to be $3.
Do you know what logical fallacy
that's going up?
Do you know what a logical fallacy is?
Due to the world we're living in.
No,
it only makes sense.
Get laws. So, okay, if PlayStation then later, a year down the track goes, all right, we're reducing it finally, down by 200 or something, I'll agree with you. Sure. You have, good on you, Sony.
There will be a price drop. Timestamp this. In the next 2 years, the PS5 will price drop.
So it's been 2 years and we've seen a price increase. So I don't know.
I expected Sony to release a new version. I thought they'd be like, here's a 2 terabyte hard drive. It's an extra $100, and it's also going to be the only one we have going forward. Like, that's how I expected them to do this. This is a bit weird. Do you reckon Microsoft keeps theirs lower and takes the advantage here?
It's not going to help them.
I mean, their console's selling out just as much, like a lot too. Maybe it's not selling as well as the PlayStation.
It's not selling as many, but there's way more available. Like when an
but
Xbox
they're still selling out. They're still selling out. They're still selling out. There's probably more of them out there than there is PlayStations. Not to mention
that's not a fact at all. Like it's almost like more than 2 to 1 of PS5s to Xbox. No, 100%.
PS4's sure. We saw that.
No, PS5 was 3 to 1. PS4's was 3 to 1. PS5 sales way outmatching Xbox ones, and they've been unavailable for way longer, and they're more a valuable commodity that people can't get their hands on.
A quick Google search has said PS5 sold 20 million compared to 14.94, so slightly more. It's not 2 to 1, but it's not a here or there.
But also, Xboxes have been more available than PS5s.
I don't care about that. All I care about is the fact that I think Sony is not this lovely company that's like, we are for gamers and we just want to support the industry. They're clearly not. They're clearly not. They're not there for profit.
Why can't Australians self-publish on their store, Luke? Tell me why.
I haven't looked into that.
Like these are the problems that we are facing with companies like Apple, like all these mega corporations that basically get you into this thing. and they monopolize it. Like you can monopolize in this day and age because the capitalist market is not built for digital transactions, and that's what Sony's essentially doing here. And these prices of price gouging, which is what this increase is an unethical practice that lots of companies do. They all shouldn't do it. Woolworths shouldn't do it. Apple shouldn't do it.
Well,
but don't sit there and be like Sony's great, guys.
well,
and then
Conan,
don't say they're allowed to do it because everyone's doing it. That's not a defense.
Well, Conan, no matter what happens in the world with the economy and shortages or anything, if our sponsor, the Taste of Iron, ever goes up in price,
yeah, guess
I'm
who
coming
hasn't
for you.
Guess
I'm
who hasn't
coming for
increased?
you.
Guess who knows? Because I'm actually for the creative process. Guess who doesn't increase profits for profit? Me. Guess who wrote that? Guess who actually made a loss on that book? I just want you to admit Sony is not the angel you think it is.
No corporation is holy and all this sort of stuff. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we can't villainize them for doing something that is completely justified and normal.
It's not
in
justified,
the
though.
world.
That's the thing. It's not. This is the problem. We settle for these unethical practices and go, everyone's
Sony
a piece
has never
of shit.
risen the price of their console before. This is a first. And we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Why aren't they
okay.
like if their costs are going up, why aren't they increasing it in every region?
So I've got some sources out there trying to find that info. I don't know all the information. This is breaking news still. This is only today. So this was 2 hours ago, this price increase. It's making its way around. They're just testing it in a few markets where, we're on better income.
They're just saying, yeah, exactly. They're just saying who they can gouge and get away with it.
And hey, I mean, if you haven't bought a PS5 at this point, well, you deserve to pay more.
I'm like, I got
Griner slid in the finish line there.
You watched them make me pay that extra $50. It'll happen.
Could you imagine? Like, oh, sorry, no.
I think I'm gonna.
It's kind of crazy. The only thing I'll disagree with them that it was announced that then it's immediately. So tomorrow it's that price. They should have been like starting from October 20 something, blah blah blah. The price will change for this. You need to give people a heads up. But yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, Conan, you're just upset because you haven't got PS5 yet.
There's also an article for them being sued for gender discrimination, but that's fine. They're a great company.
Every company is.
Oh, that's okay.
They're all bad, man. They're all bad.
Dear.
Anyway, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. You can find us on social medias at Bonus XP Podcast. And if you like listening to us talk about video games, you'll love listening to us talk about movies. And that's normal movies. That's movie trilogies. That's all the things in between on the good, the bad, and the worst. You can find that on social medias at Good, Bad, Worst Pod as well. Like I said, for a cheap price, you can buy The Taste of Iron on Amazon or on Kindle if you want to read it digitally.
Guarantee you'll never get ripped off.
The prices may have increased. I need to do some research to see what it first launched at and see if his production costs have changed. But buy that, take a read, see what you think. Let us know. Leave reviews, like and subscribe. Tell your friends, please.
Leave us reviews on Spotify, please. Spotify.
Yes, and if you're listening to this on Spotify, we love you. Leave us reviews, ratings. Tell everyone.
I heard only the 5-star button works for some reason.
Yeah, don't press one of the other ones, or like someone in your family will die.
Wow. Okay.
It's one of them curses. Pass it on to 7 people. Or you'll be cursed for 7 years. You'll have no love. Anyway, Thanks for watching again. We'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya.
Ladies.